How much more time do we truly have left with the ones we love? According to the website seeyourfolks.com, if we visit my dad 4 times a year, which seems to be about the average, I will probably only be able to visit with my dad 108 more times before he kicks the bucket. Sorry, Dad, you're getting old. Now, although we both hope that number is much more numerous, it's time we start making each of those 108 moments that we have left really count. And to do so, we are starting an annual father-son trip. For our first trip, we went to the second largest canyon in the United States at Palo Duro Canyon State Park in Texas. Today's video is made possible by our Patreon community. More on that in a bit. We're about 6 miles away from the park / the canyon, and this looks like the last place in the world that I think we would expect there to be a canyon. It's just like flat grasslands everywhere. So maybe the second largest canyon in the United States. Maybe that doesn't mean much. We'll find out. We just made it in the park, and it is now it is abundantly clear that there's a big canyon here. Yep, this is a canyon. Second largest canyon in the United States, only next to the Grand Canyon, of course. And I've never seen the Grand Canyon. You've seen the Grand Canyon. I've seen the Grand Canyon. That's my dad. He's a great dad. He's also stubborn, way too frugal, really shy, and as you can already tell from his hat, he's a dork. And the older I get, the more I realize I am just like him. How does it compare? I mean, I don't know that you can compare them, but
this is obviously, it's big, but the part of the Grand Canyon I saw was much deeper.
Okay.
But this is still pretty neat.
Very big. Now, while we went to Palo Duro Canyon for the incredible views, I think the actual canyon is pretty far down the list of the things we will remember from that trip. While this wasn't the most impactful memory from the trip necessarily, I think one of the first memories I have of the trip is our somewhat unique camping setup. Let's just say we haven't got that REI sponsorship yet. Welcome to our home for the next few days, Palo Duro State Park campsite number 49. This is going to be an interesting trip. You've seen Hillary and I camp. Unfortunately, you've seen Hillary and I camp, and if you haven't, well, we didn't have any supplies and we didn't know what we're doing. But this time I'm with Dad, I'm with Pops. We still don't know what we're doing. We still don't have the supplies we need, but it's a little bit of an upgrade from what Hillary and I had because, well, at least this time we have a cooler and we have ice. So I was gonna say no matter what it'll be better, but I feel like that was gonna jinx us.
Here we have a dad in his natural environment. He cannot resist the urge to find the perfect spot to sleep.
Trying to figure out the best spot to put the tent. Did you get it? Did you get the sundial and everything figured out? I mean, it's 100 degrees outside. We're in the middle of a canyon. The best spot for a tent is at home. So we've already made mistake number 1, but the best spot for what we're working with, I think we got to figure it out. This tent is huge. This is the like VIP version of what Hillary and I are sleeping with. So we got plenty of room for all of our stuff in here. Wow, this is nice. Next, Dad had the idea of building his own shade contraption using random supplies he had in the back of his truck. You think it's gonna
blow away? There's a good chance. Yes, there's a good chance it will blow away.
Is it worth the effort? Is it worth the amount of sweat we put into it that's gonna save us?
No. Daddy needs a nap.
Big Daddy needs a nap. I can't decide if that looks really comfortable or really terrible. Looks like you should be in a pool instead of in a tent in the middle of the desert.
It's so cool.
He's on Big Daddy. Meanwhile, I'm over here on Little Mama.
Also, I'm going to remember the miles and miles of trails that we hiked. But what truly made a bigger impact was what we had after the hikes.
The motivation on this hike, you know, outside of just getting to the turnaround spot, I guess, is, you know, obviously to see all the beautiful surroundings and nature and the second largest canyon in the United States, and the lizards, of course. But now the motivation getting back, besides cold water in the truck, is that at the visitor center they sell Bluebell ice cream. And that's, I mean, the canyon's beautiful, but yeah, we might be running back. We might be running back to get that Bluebell. One important question for this hike: you can do one scoop or two?
2 scoops.
This is a 2-scoop kind of day.
Hike.
You going different flavors or 2 the same?
Different flavors. You got to go for the gusto.
Yeah, I saw a Rocky Road in there the other day, and maybe there's a pistachio or something.
I wonder if they got an I Survived flavor.
They might have an I Survived shirt. 0.6 to go. I've been busy talking. You've almost had that whole thing.
It's worth it.
Must be good.
It's good.
Bluebell's normally pretty good, but this tastes extra delicious today.
You know what you call this?
Bonus.
I call it Deja Bluebell.
6-mile hike done. We deserved this. Well, I don't know if we deserve this Bluebell or not, but it is delicious, and we're gonna eat all of it. And we actually just finished hamburgers and French fries that were almost as good as the Bluebell ice cream.
We didn't have to travel 300 miles for this, but I think the Bluebell ice cream is going to be the most memorable thing from this trip. Forget the canyons and the hiking and the camping, but the Bluebell ice cream has definitely made this trip. And the hamburgers, and I guess if you're going to be stupid enough to camp when it's 100 degrees outside, you got to be smart enough to take advantage of ice cream when it's for sale.
While the ice cream is impossible to beat, I would be remiss if I didn't mention just how incredible the stars were every night. How bad the flies were.
Something you should know about these flies in the panhandle is that these suckers are prevalent and they bite and they hurt. And it makes the hours from 2 to 8, you know, it's not too hot right now, not as hot as it was, but got it. You got one. He's been swatting for 3 days straight. He finally got one fly. They are a pest. I'm trying to read a little bit. You just cannot relax. These flies out here these are predators.
And how could I ever forget that delicious dinner we shared together?
What are you cooking tonight?
Good stuff.
Good stuff.
Good stuff.
Show the people what we got.
Campbell's to the rescue.
We're
gonna have some Campbell's chunky sirloin steak, potato, bacon and cheese soup.
all mixed together.
All mixed together. The supper of champions. This one's the odd one out.
Yeah. Oh man. That's gonna be a little funky. The tent's gonna be a little funky. Hillary, when you're watching this, you'll know exactly where I got my cooking skills from and why I don't cook. Why you don't allow me to cook. This is a reminder. I'm now realizing just how much Hillary has civilized me over the last decade, and this last week has definitely set me back to my roots, and I don't know if that's a good thing or not, because Hillary would never go for this, and that's probably a good thing.
That's the best supper I had all day. It's hot. It's nutritional. Campbell soup. Your new sponsor.
But truth be told, many of the great memories we have from this trip weren't captured on camera. Like the raccoons stealing our food in the middle of the night, waking up to rain leaking inside the tent, and an encounter with a very grumpy park ranger at Caprock Canyons.
Sure am gonna miss the ice cream here. Not the flies, but the ice cream.
We have a very limited time on this earth. We have to make each moment count. Now I say that not as somebody that does a great job staying connected with family, but rather as somebody that struggles with it greatly. I don't call my parents often enough. I don't check in with my sisters as much as I should. And we certainly don't see my grandparents as often as we need to. We have a finite number of moments left with the people we love. It's important that we make them count. So here's to 107 more crazy adventures. But I think honestly, after all that ice cream, Dad, we probably just lowered your number down to 106. A huge thank you to all of our Patreon community members for supporting our channel, for supporting our work, these videos, and more importantly, our mission. We just put the final touches on this edit, and I think out of the 1,000 plus videos or 900 plus videos, however many we have, I think this one is probably the most special and probably the video that we have worked the hardest on. So thank you, thank you, thank you. If you'd like to support our work and our mission, please consider becoming a Patreon. Please consider becoming a patron, rather, over at patreon.com/Kinetic Kennons.
What's better, the Brahms or Bluebell?
Bluebell in the canyon after a hike. Absolutely.
Well, we deserve this. Brahms after sitting in the truck. There's something special about that. This is my bed for the next few nights. This pool toy really just feels like it's inflated on either side of me, and my body's just right on the ground. And I don't have a pillow, but I do got a bag full of clothes, so should make for an interesting night.